You're watching Drakewing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drakewing Gaming. And some of you me on Twitter, The Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Repeat Remake, Sissel's Path. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you are up, and let's go. Alright. I'm glad you're still with us, Jenny. Jenny flashed me a grateful smile. Same here. Thanks for taking this so well. That was a lie. I wasn't taking this well at all. I hung my head low, my mind still swimming with a strange mix of grief and confusion. My hands wrapped tightly around the cold metal of the camera hanging around my neck. I just didn't know Wishes could just die like that, you know? I mean, I saw Echo get fucking eaten, but that was in the last timeline. None of it feels real. Well, I don't know if he's completely gone. Ginny clacked her teeth together loudly as she struggled to find her words. How do I put this gently? Your Wish's, corpse is still hanging around in my hospital room. I swallowed back the bile in the back of my throat. He's still there? I mean, he's definitely gone, but I don't think Wishes die the same way we do. I tried to poke Haley for some info. She said the only way Wishes really die is if they are fulfilled, or if their wisher sincerely recants their wish and changes their mind. Ginny jabbed my chest with a soft smile. So, if there's some part of you that still holds on to the desire that brought him to life, he should still be here. I stared downwards, my gaze fixated on my reflection in the cold lens of my camera. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like Echo has always been kind of looking for an excuse to, fade away. I guess, as a wish, he never really wanted to be fulfilled. Ginny blinked. And why's that? What did you even wish for, anyway? I really don't want to talk about it. Fair enough. I cleared my throat loudly and looked up with a forced grin. Anyway, you're the one who's basically come back to life. How are you feeling? Ginny hopped onto her toes and wiggled her arms experimentally. Everything's still working. Guess I better make the most of all this extra time, huh? What about you? Feeling okay yourself? I paused quietly. I'm okay. Sissel's alive, Herschel's alive, and you're alive. Even though this whole situation has turned into a bit of a mess, I feel like we've got a real fighting chance this time around. I pressed a hand on my chest and breathed in deeply. Echo, I'm sad he's gone, but I feel like he's still with us in some funky way. So, overall, I'm grateful. Nervous, but grateful. Does that make sense? Ginny laughed and shook her head tiredly. None of this makes sense to me, even after all this time. But, I'm glad you're here too. She clapped me on the back with a grin. Anyway, that's enough mushy talk for now. I'm going upstairs to see if Philip and Owen haven't killed each other yet, or if Sissel's in another moping session. You gonna come? Maybe in a bit. I gotta marinate these feelings first. Heh, suit yourself. With that, Ginny strolled upstairs and left me alone with my thoughts. I sank into the booth and took a deep swig of my seltzer water, wincing at the sensation of angry bubbles fluttering down my throat. I squeezed my eyes shut for several moments and then stared at the ceiling. Echo's gone. But he's not, is he? Wishes don't die, and my wish certainly wasn't fulfilled. Delicious. I sighed and hopped onto my feet, stretching my legs. No use dwelling on it now. As I took a few steps towards the stairwell, my foot landed in something soft and wet. A familiar cold shiver ran down my spine as I lifted my leg and glanced at the strange mass crawling across the floor like a pathetic slug. Huh. The Remnant has really fallen apart since I last saw it. Most of its body is gone and faded, leaving just half a head in its mouth, continuously mumbling under its breath. I crouched down and poked at it gently. I tossed you to the dumpster like 2 days ago. How did you find me with no legs? It didn't react. Instead, it just kept whispering a continuous string of thoughts I could barely make out. I don't deserve to be here. If I can't fix everything, what is the point of having me around? They're good kids. They shouldn't have to deal with this. They probably still hate me under all that. They're just being nice. I shouldn't... I plucked the muttering head off the ground and could only stare in a strange mix of pity and sympathy. It was still horrifying to look at, but it was hard to not feel a little bit sad when that's what it's been reduced to. I plopped the mumbling head next to Morse's coffee maker with a sigh. I guess throwing you out without dealing with you wasn't the way to go, huh? I thought I'd always find a way to come back. I shot a glance upstairs, and an odd sense of determination filled my chest. Stay here and don't make a mess. I'll be right back. Miraculously, the Remnant's head seemed to settle down and remained unmoving, save for the occasional gurgle. I gave it one last glance before I made my way upstairs. I cut right to the chase and jiggled Herschel's bedroom doorknob enthusiastically. Yo, Herschel, I know you're still awake. Open up! Silence. I huffed and kept jiggling. After a stubborn 5 minutes, the door finally swung open and Herschel's irritated face poked out. What do you want, kid? What do you want, kid? I grinned and jerked a thumb behind my shoulder down the hallway. I think I heard Sissel and the others massacring each other over Scrabble again. You should join them. Herschel visibly deflated and shrunk back behind the door. Nah, not feeling it right now. I'm sure locking yourself in your room and avoiding everyone all day is completely unrelated to why you're not feeling it. Come on, man, it's just a game of Scrabble. No need to feel guilty for just hanging around. Herschel sighed, his ears drooping. It's not just that. They probably don't want the guy who caused all their problems to hang around with them. Huh, I don't remember Sissel inviting those debt collectors to Scrabble. You know what I mean. It's better that I stay here. Out of the way so you kids can have your own fun, you know? But Sissel invited you. He wants you around. A strained expression stretched across Herschel's face as he glanced away. And my sister wanted me around, too. Look where that got her. I stared at him intensely for several moments. After a beat, I pushed myself into his room and sat down quietly on his bed. I patted the spot next to me. Herschel looked like he wanted to argue, but just sighed and sat down next to me. I bit my lips, carefully considering my words. Sissel and I know about your home situation, when you were growing up. How your parents treated you, and all the stuff your sister did for you. He knows. Herschel's shoulders tensed. How did you two find out? We hassled Mrs. Corliss for some answers after your little argument with Sissel. Because we fell into a magical memory well probably wasn't the most believable answer. I hummed thoughtfully. I can see why you feel the way you feel right now. Believe me, I get it. I gave Herschel a wry smile. Before I came to Girani, I lived in a pretty shitty household too. Nowhere near as bad as yours, but the vibes are similar. My parents always looked at me like I was a burden. The best thing I could do for them was to be out of sight and out of mind. The only reason I came to Girani was because I won this lucky draw of a scholarship and they wanted me out of the house. My hands reached up and gripped the camera around my neck as I chuckled fondly. But, you know, I learned a few things while I was here. I found some people I care about, and they care about me in return. Which is why it hurt a lot when Sissel stopped talking to me for a while. He got really upset over something, and I guess he thought he was saving me the trouble by staying far away. He didn't answer his phone, he didn't talk to anyone, nothing. He kind of just left a note and ran away. I cleared my throat loudly. We made up later, but still, that brief period of time really hurt, just not being there. Herschel sat there in silence, his eyes drifting to his feet with a hint of guilt. I grinned and clapped him on the back. Love is when you reach out to other people and they decide to reach back. And sometimes, even when you think you're not enough, reaching back is the kindest thing you can do. Come on, you've left Sissel hanging long enough, haven't you? Even his moping sessions aren't that bad. Herschel stared up at me quietly, a soft smile growing across his face. He opened his mouth up to speak, but was suddenly interrupted by a loud gurgle. My hands wrapped around my stomach self-consciously as Herschel barked out a laugh. You hungry, kid? I mean, Morse got us some really shitty takeout earlier. I'm pretty sure the delivery guy forgot the food in his car for like an hour. Herschel hopped onto his feet and dusted himself off with a grin. There was a renewed sense of purpose in his step as he made his way out the door. I guess I'll be making some late-night snacks. Might as well. You kids need something to munch on while you're scrabbling, right? Oh, about that. 1 second. I smiled, digging through my pockets. I pulled out a small wooden tile and handed it to Herschel. Can you pass this on to Sissel for me? Herschel rolled a little E in his palm with a raised brow. What word was he trying to spell anyway? Potatoes, I think? Can't you spell potatoes without an E? I shrugged. Probably not. You can argue about the others while you're cooking. Herschel smiled and stuffed the tile in his pocket. I guess I shouldn't overthink it. It's just potatoes. You should come join us, too. Snacks should be done in a few minutes. I gave him a grateful thumbs up as he disappeared down the hallway. It was nice to see that dumb, jolly grin on Herschel's face again. It's been a while since I last seen it. Just one step at a time. What the fuck? My ears suddenly perked up when I poked my head into the stairwell. Did I just hear someone scream for a second? My phone suddenly buzzed and I flipped open my notifications. Dude, get down here right now! Well, that certainly didn't sound good. I gulped and bolted down the stairs. I arrived in the lounge just in time for Ginny to grab me by the shoulders and shake me with pure panic across her face. Adrian! 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 Well, what happened? What's going on? I came downstairs to make a cup of coffee, and... She gulped. Dude, there's a fucking severed head next to the coffee machine. I blinked. Oh, that's... Wait. I squinted. Coffee? At 11 p.m.? That's what you're focusing on right now? Dude, there's a goddamn severed head wiggling on the K-cups. The Remnant gurgled slightly and rolled over face down on the coffee counter like an overfed cat in the afternoon sun. It certainly didn't look as threatening as it used to. That's the Remnant. You remember him? Yeah, I watched it chew your wish into little pieces. Why didn't you put it on the table? Why did you put it on the table instead of throwing it out? You know, like a normal person. Oh, I've tried that a few times already. It's been crawling its way back to me ever since we restarted this timeline thingy. Every time it showed up, it's been looking weaker and weaker, and... The Remnant's head jiggled again, rolling onto its side and then deflating slightly like a melon left in the sun for too long. I scratched my head and sighed. I don't know, I feel kind of bad for it. Ginny glanced between me and the mumbling head incredulously. You're not seriously keeping it here. That thing can't be a good influence on the people here. It's not strictly bad. It kind of just mumbles out bad thoughts from the people around it. It helped me figure out how to get Herschel and Sissel talking again. Anyway, if we toss it out, it'll find us again eventually. It's not like we can kill it. Wishes don't die. So let's just keep it around and deal with the problems it brings up when it happens. That way we can keep a better eye on it. Ginny rubbed her temples and scowled. You're insane. Maybe a bit. Fine. Just get it off the coffee counter and toss it in the maintenance closet or something. It loses my appetite just by looking at it. That was a decent compromise. I plucked the Remnant's head off the counter and carried it across the lounge area. As I did so, I noticed the Remnant's gurgles had grown quieter after my little chat with Herschel. It almost seemed at peace. Will everything be okay this time around? Will it be worth it? And what will it cost? I plopped it onto a cardboard box in the closet inside. You're a strange little horror movie prop, aren't you? Its remaining lavender eye blinked and stared at me groggily. They deserve something nice. I'm nothing without them. I squeezed the closet door shut a little more quickly than I would have liked. As far as wishes go, Echo was definitely more pleasant to be around. I shivered and strolled back to the coffee counter where Ginny was struggling to steam her latte. She glanced up from the Steam Wand Jam notification and shot me a wary look. Did you finish quarantining our little depression demon? He's been safely boxed. How's the coffee? Ginny grumbled as she unscrewed the steam wand and dunked it into the sink. You'd figure that coffee addicts like Morse and Phillip would take better care of this junk. I just wanted a nice cup of latte without cleaning up after their messes. At 11 p.m. Ginny nodded pleasantly, as though chugging caffeine at almost midnight was a perfectly respectable thing to do. Aren't you sick? And messing with your sleep like that probably isn't great for your health. Oh, don't start with that. I get enough stupid fussing from Gran and my doctors. It's not like we're getting any sleep now anyways. They locked the 5 of us in the same building with nothing to do all day. You know for a fact we're going to be staying up all night doing stupid shit. Ginny's face softened for a moment. I don't know how much time I have left. So, while I have it, I'm going to spend it having a good time with you guys, alright? Wow. And you called me the mushy one. I laughed and ducked as Ginny chucked a wet sponge at my face. The sponge sailed over my head and knocked over one of Morse's #1 not my real dad mugs off the counter. We both winced as the mug shattered against the floor with a sharp crack. You're a real menace tonight. Don't tell Morse, please. I'm pretty sure that was one of his favorites. Don't have to worry. I try to avoid talking to Morse more than necessary anyway. Alright, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and pause it right there. It's late, I'm tired, I'm gonna go ahead and kick back for the evening. Alright, y'all have a lovely rest of your night. I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!